You know who it is, it's Big P. How are you doing, Terry?
Mate, I'm all good. Yeah, just a bit of drama at home, but I mean, it's what adulthood's all about, right?
Yeah. What's happening with Conor Ben, Terry?
It's kind of ended how we thought it would. Um, I think the WBC have been really clever, and they've just said we don't fancy all the lawsuits and all the aggravation. Want to kick this over to UCAD and the board. That's all they've done. I don't think they're not really saying he's innocent. I don't want anyone to go around saying Conor Ben's been cleared because he hasn't been cleared. The WBC are not a recognized anti-doping authority, nor are they a recognized governing body. So Conor Ben hasn't been cleared of a single thing. The WBC have just said, until it's a problem for the governing body and the anti-doping authorities, it's not a problem for us. That's what they've said. And it's cowardice on the part of the WBC. I think the WBC should have made a stronger stand for the integrity of boxing, and they've chosen not to. And they're meant to be the preeminent belt in the division. So when you see that, it's just a reminder how dirty the sport is. But it means that the real fight that needs to happen is Conor Ben versus UCAD and the board. Now, whether the board have the heart for that, I don't know. Whether UCAD have the stomach for that or the finances for that, I really don't know.
What do you think to this 270-page dossier? I mean, that's going to take some going through, isn't it, and replying to.
So you don't do what will happen is if they submit that to the board and to UCAD already know the scientists that can review that, and it will turn on three or four key issues, and it will be about, okay, if he's consuming 30 to 34 eggs a week, fine. Are they all from the same place? Are they from different places? Are they from different places? Can you trace the farms to which they came from? Because remember, in this country, we don't use clomiphene. We don't use hormones in agriculture in this country. We're not allowed to. So they can't be British eggs. So where was Conor Ben getting the eggs from? And why wasn't he getting British eggs, which he would have known, or his nutritionist should have known, were hormone free?
They'll all be on the credit cards when they've ordered them, won't they? They'll have audit numbers and that to be imported into the country.
Well, so you should have a purchase receipt, and you should say on this day we bought eggs from Morrison's, and then Morrison's should be able to tell you in this time period this is where we got our eggs from, right? So you'll know the farm because remember these guys have regular supply agreements. So one farm will supply four supermarkets for like 5 or 10 years. Then you go to the farm, you say to the farmer, have there been any instances where you've used clomiphene? Could it have leaked out anywhere? The answer is usually no, because the hormones aren't allowed in our livestock.
Where's
But
oh, sorry, go on.
that's it. What the WBC have said is we're not getting involved in that. Okay? We're not getting involved in that for two reasons. One, we don't fancy the lawsuit. Two, if he gets banned by the British board or UCAD, then we just take him out the rankings anyway. So they have a solution without having to make a decision. So they're saying to UCAD and the board, let's see if you can grow up here.
Yeah, they're not getting involved because they just want the sanctioning fees, don't they, the WBC?
And they don't want to have to fight something in court. That's really what they're trying to avoid.
Do you remember years ago that Roy Jones incident where it was, or some guy that didn't they get sued or something for millions, WBC?
I can't remember.
Got sued for years ago and they'll not want to go down that route again, I wouldn't have thought. Where does this leave Eddie then with board? I mean, he looks a bit fractured now, doesn't it?
Well, so the board have been very clear that Conor Ben cannot fight in Britain until this is resolved. So what Eddie will do is say, right, we're going to put him on in the Middle East. But then if you're in the Middle East, what you're saying is, we don't want your problems here. We don't want to be the solution to your problem. So I don't know if anyone's going to let Conor Ben actually box, because normally with these boards, there's like a reciprocal agreement. So they'll normally say, well, look, don't let him fight on your shows in your country, because if you do, when it happens to you guys, we'll let them fight here, right? So we've all got to play nicely with each other. And I think that's generally what happens. It's why the board are quite slick, because if you fail a medical here, it's hard to get licensed anywhere else, because there are these good reciprocal relationships with various governing bodies in boxing. So I think it's going to be hard to put Conor Benn on for a show, but they're going to try and find a way to do it because they want to put the board under pressure. But the reality is this: Conor Benn doesn't make more money for Matchroom than he does in the United Kingdom. It's as simple as that. He doesn't mean anything anywhere else. It's not meaningful.
Do you think they've all tried to flex the muscles and call each other's bluffs, and now it's all time to cards on table kind of thing?
Well, yeah. But the big battles between the board and we'll just call it the Matchroom Empire, right? That's the big battle at the moment, Russ.
Yeah.
Will the board hold firm and say, we are not happy with this? Because there's all sorts of things here, Russ, that the board need to, and if the board, so there are two elements for me. If I was at the board now, I'd say, we're going to deal with the anti-doping element as one issue. Then we're going to deal with Conor Benn's behavior after that second failed test as another issue. If you see what I mean. Because he's had some behavior that hasn't been particularly good for the sport.
Yeah.
And so the question is, can you punish him through that route as well? I don't know. We'll leave that to the board and their lawyers. But if Conor Benn is able to walk back into a ring, having faced no sanction for failing two drug tests, that is not in dispute, by the way. He failed 2 drugs tests.
Yeah.
If he's able to resume his career after doing that with no sanction, no punishment, anything like that, then I just don't see why a boxer would want to be clean.
Yeah, it's where does it leave people thinking, well, I'm going to take same drugs as Conor Benn and I'll just say I'm having 5 eggs a day.
There you go. It's created a problem. And here's where it all went wrong, Russ. When you set up an anti-doping system that says, if the drug is in your system, you're guilty. That's a pretty good system, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to establish anything. It's like, right, you failed your A sample, you failed your B sample, you are banned. Ben Johnson style.
Yeah, listen, this Olympic testing that they're catching them now with boxing, they were doing this 35 years ago when Ben Johnson got done. And when he got done, that were massive, wasn't it? Because he were like one of the first big ones to get done, wasn't he?
Yeah, and remember, he was out of that Olympic village inside of 2 days.
And he slowed up, didn't he, at last 10 meters, did he?
Yeah.
It's before he exploded. He rips it in half, that world record of Carl Lewis's, didn't he?
Hey, the thing I always think about with that is, didn't he run 9:79 in 1989? Yeah, 1988.
9.780 he ran, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a good time now.
Took like a meter, the classic, it took like a meter off the time, didn't he? The other time or something.
Yeah.
A meter, which was a lot, innit? Because they only fine margins, isn't it?
Yeah, that's mind blowing to think that if he ran that now, he might win a medal.
Either his record he broke or his own or Carl Lewis's, but they were 2 main guys, weren't they then? But he would come out of nowhere, didn't he, Ben Johnson?
Yeah, but then so did Conor Benn.
Right? Conor Benn,
yeah,
Conor Benn, yeah.
Out of nowhere, you're getting your jaw broken by Hara Davis 1 minute, and then you're laying waste to whoever was Chris Algieri and all these other people. It just never made sense. And the red flags have been raised for a long time. No one was surprised that he failed the drugs test. Let's be honest, nobody was.
No, nobody in boxing were, weren't they?
No.
Smith said about him, didn't he? Liam Smith, he come out and told it straight. He said, "Does he think people are stupid? It's a cheating CUNT."
Yeah, but so my question is, what does boxing do about this? Because here's what's going to happen, Russ. Eddie's going to find a way to put Conor Benn on the show. And I don't know how many people listen to this episode, however many listen. 80% of them will watch that. Yeah? But that same 80% will tell you that he's a drugs cheat and he doesn't deserve to fight, right? But they'll still watch it. And this is the problem with boxing fans. Boxing fans are generally, in terms of character, generally the weakest people I've found in my experience. Because look what happened when football clubs said, yeah, we're going to join the Super League. Those fans got off their sofas and said, hell no, not today. And that Super League idea died inside of 48 hours. Why can't boxing just end Conor Benn's career by just not showing up at events, not watching his IFL interview? You know why, Russ? Because boxing fans are too weak in general. So nothing's going to change. People still watch Conor Benn. People still do all of that stuff while trying to claim the moral high ground. Well, at least I didn't take drugs. No, don't watch him. Don't watch any interview that involves him. Don't watch any interview about him. Let's see those numbers collapse and people go, oh, he's not commercially viable anymore.
Well, what about
I dare boxing fans to do that.
Yeah, what about all these YouTubers now who now know that they're not going to get access to Conor Benn? You know, your Seconds Out one, I've heard they're not going to get access. There's a few more as well who've been outspoken and we're not going to get access. So it's going to be
good. We're not good. What do you want to talk to? What do you want to talk to him about?
IFL are going to have access to because the mates aren't from the same village.
No, but what do they want to talk to Conor Benn about?
I know.
Well, what is it the audience want to hear from Conor Benn? That he took drugs? We know you did. And we also know that you've handed over your social media accounts to a PR agency. So you got some failed comedian doing all your responses trying to be clever. We know that. We know that you are hiding from the fans. You are hiding from the public. This is all now a PR machine that boxing fans will fall for. And they'll prove once again that actually the worst people in the sport are the fans. Always have been, always will be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough times for Conor Benn. I don't see fans forgiving him, mate. Because
I do.
Sticking his finger up on Instagram. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Is he trying to pantomime villain like Mayweather or something now? Is he going down that route?
He knows the fans will not switch off because most people who watch boxing are basement dwellers. I don't care what anyone says. They're basement dwellers, scared little kids, and they love all that stuff. They're too weak to end anyone's career. What drug chiefs ever had their career ended in boxing, Russ?
None.
So why would it start now?
It won't, will it?
No. So
Roy Jones, Holyfield, Tyson Fury, Dylan White. The list is endless. Yeah. Vetkin.
Yeah. Look how many drug chiefs with the Hall of Fame.
Hey?
Look at how many Hall of Famers are drug chiefs.
Yeah, Tony Yoka.
Yeah. You know, and now we've got to start looking at Nigel's career and going, was he clean? I would suspect he wasn't.
Yeah.
Then you start going, was he clean when he fought Gerald McClellan?
Well, they didn't test him, did they? Because he collapsed, didn't he, at weight at ring?
There you go. Oh, and we know Nigel was around it.
Way back to dressing room it was.
Yeah. But Russ, we know Nigel was around it. He's admitted that he was on everything.
Yeah.
So, but Nigel Benz, most British boxing fans, he's a hero to most British boxing fans. But they now need to start saying, is he a drug chief? But they don't have the courage to do that. Like I said, boxing's the worst part of boxing is fans. Always has been, always will be.
Well, Son obviously were doing it, wasn't
he? Yeah. You failed 2 tests.
Yeah, do you think that the Son turned to it when he realised he wasn't good enough earlier on and he had that time out?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the dad was involved and other people involved, but they did it wrong. They failed the first test. That's when they brought in Dr. Uz and they said, Dr. Uz, we need you to clean this up. And he said, listen, if you've got this stuff in you, it's going to take a long time for it to come out. And we can't flush it out without using something else that will fail a test. Like I think I've said this numerous times. The last thing you want to use is something like Clomid. Clomid has a long half-life. It stays in your system for ages.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? The situation that Ben's in now. But does he fight Manny Pacquiao?
Honest, Russ, I don't care. Like, I have very little interest in Conor Benn's career because he hasn't done anything. If you think how long he's been a pro for, what, 6, 7 years? What fight has he given you that you cared about?
None.
So why would you care now?
the hype around him and the profile he's got is astronomical, isn't it?
And who did that? The boxing fans.
Yeah.
So once I say, I'm going to keep saying this: the biggest problem in boxing will always be the fans.
You think same will happen with Atten? Hands of foam.
Has both. He's Ricky Hatton's kid, right? So the media will get behind him. The boxing fans will get behind him because he's Ricky's kid. He's Ricky's kid. I keep saying it. As long as the fans are stupid, as long as the fans are weak, as long as the fans are lazy, which they are, Hatton will make a bucket load of cash. Conor Benn will make a bucket load of cash, and they can take whatever they want. All thanks to the boxing fans.
Yeah, it's. What do you think? Robert Smith's lost a lot of respect over all this, and Calla and Eddie.
I think Robert Smith has come out of this with a bit more credit because he said it himself. As soon as that first test was failed, they started sending the legal letters. So what was he supposed to do? You got to take those seriously because now it starts to cost you money.
Yeah.
So there's not much Robert Smith could have done.
Do you think they tried to bully him, Calla and Eddie?
Yeah. They said, we've got more money than you.
Eh?
Yeah, they said, look, we've got more money than you. Do you want to really play this game? Okay.
Well, they've got in-house lawyers, haven't they? Earns, haven't they?
That. It's not even that, Russ. They've got access to lawyers. Yeah, those 500 quid an hour lawyers. 200 quid for every letter they sent. Those letters add up.
Well, them sort of people they use lawyers. Sounds like Dennis. He has a lawyer that he uses all year round, and he just rings him and they deal with it straight away. Anything straight away. Just one phone call away.
No, but with this, you need specialist lawyers. Like you want names that will scare the board. You need a brand name that will scare the board.
Michigan Derena and all that. They've had 270-page dossier. Imagine having to reply to that. It costs thousands and over 100 grand easily.
No, not to reply to that. Because you got to just distill it down to 3 or 4 key points. As long as you find a couple of inconsistencies, you're good. That's all you need. You just need a few scientists to read over this and go, this isn't established research. This is all theoretical. Then you're all good.
There's enough for it to be going back and forward, though, for months and months and months, and it not get dealt with, isn't there?
Well, this is a 270-page dossier, right? The UK and the board will read it. They'll fire off some questions. Yeah. And then there'll be some responses. There'll be some red lines in these are areas of concern. And then there will, But that all has to be part of the hearing process. And for that, Conor Benn would have to have a British license, which he doesn't currently have. So he's not under anyone's jurisdiction. You can't do anything. As of today, you can do absolutely nothing to Conor Benn because he's not governed by anybody.
And is that why he under his licensing?
It could be that could be the reason.
Do you think?
Because now you're a civilian.
He's earned going after the board for his £1 million that he's done in a DAZN's on promotion.
No, I don't think he cares. Yeah, it's not his money anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying he's done $1 million, isn't he? That's probably what he would have had for himself at fight, isn't it?
Well, but that's what it's called paper money, right? Because you say you've lost money, but really you haven't because that money was given to you. So you just lost the opportunity to capitalize off that money. But you didn't. It's not Matchroom's money.
Do you see it all going sour with DAZN and Hearn?
No, because like I said, boxing fans won't make a big enough stink about it. So in 4 weeks' time, we won't even be talking about this.
Can you name a UK world champion who's got?
A UK world champion at what?
Has Eddie Hearn got a world champion that's from UK, apart from Katie Taylor?
No.
There you go. So where is everybody?
It's not that good.
He spread himself too thin, hasn't he?
No, actually, they're not that good. Like British boxers aren't that good. It's as simple as that.
You know, he answers on a postcard, porkycorner@mail.com. Has Eddie Hearn got a British world champion?
No, because he lost Lee Wood.
A Coley's gone.
Lee Wood lost his belt.
Billy Joe's gone. Joshua's not got his belt. Boats has not fought for one yet. You know, Warrington's lost his. Lara's is he a champion or I don't even know if he's got a belt, has he? Well, he's
Yeah,
not
for the WBA.
Lee Woods, hasn't he? But he's not British. Where's Eddie's British world champion? I see you hovering around Sonny Edwards. But he hasn't done all heavy lifting if he gets him, has he? Frank Warren did all heavy lifting, didn't he? AKA Brick Top. Tough times for Eddie, isn't it?
Nah, it's not. And like it's not tough times because the fans don't care us. We keep making up, and I think it's our fault in the media. We keep making up these kind of weird narratives that Eddie's in trouble, he's this, he's that. And the fans are like, nah, I'll still watch Matchroom shows. I'll still tune into DAZN. Even if I've got to stream it, I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to keep making the same point every 2 minutes. Until boxing fans change their behavior, nothing will change in boxing.
Yeah. All right then. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury from Fury Power. They're going to go at it. It's 20 quid on BT Sport. What do you think about it all? And the WBC ranking for winner.
So if I were to rank pay-per-view events by value for money, this is top 3 in the last 5 years.
Why?
It's a story that's been relatively interesting. John Fury being topless in the ring, John Fury going crazy at a TV screen. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that you can look on and go, it's not really boxing, but it's quite funny. They've put a lot of work into this. The fight that hasn't happened. Pardon?
Good actors, aren't they?
Yeah. And
Stage big and all that nonsense.
Wait. And to be honest, I actually care about who wins this fight.
Yeah,
I do care about who wins this fight because if Jake wins this fight, you've got to respect him.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because Tommy's is in his blood. Tommy's done the novices. He's boxers and he's boxed. Tommy Fury has boxed.
Yeah.
Porky.
Yeah.
Jake hasn't.
Yeah. I know.
Imagine he comes in. He took up boxing for a bit of a laugh. And he gets a WBC ranking.
I know.
Fair play to the lad. There's nothing I can say negative about Jake Paul. I think he's done everything right. Instead of people criticizing the kid, they should be taking notes and go, oh, what did he do? Oh, so he built his own audience. So that meant that he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And he made money doing it.
He's a little goonie.
He's what boxing needed. Right? He is. He's his own promoter, his own manager. He fights. Why couldn't Eubank do that? Why couldn't all of these kids team up and go, right, we're going to put on our own shows? Why couldn't they do that? Why did British boxer, how many times, Porky, have you heard, why isn't my promoter putting me out? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? All these kids waiting for a hand up from a promoter. Why didn't they get off their backsides and do it themselves? Jake's done it.
They're all having to kiss ass to get on shows, aren't they?
They don't have to. If you back yourself, put on your own show.
Yeah. A lot of people in boxing are sucking up to him, aren't they, this Jake Paul?
Listen, I saw all those people that flew out to Saudi, the usual sets of clowns. And like I said, boxing fans are the worst, then it's the media. Because look at them, all got their tongues out. Just got their tongues out, Russ. For what?
Never seen that. I've never seen that like it. Grown men, lickers. They are lickers.
Yeah, because they're like, I'll do anything to get views. And I keep coming back to this point, Russ. I don't understand how their business model is viable. Let's say you're sending two people out there as seconds out, right? What's the flight going to be out there?
500.
At least about 600-700 quid. Hotels, because you're out there for at least a week. Hotels, that'll take you up to about 1,200 quid. Then you got to eat, breathe, sleep, move around. So each person's probably shelling out like 1,800 to 2,000 in the time that they're there. How are you making that money back? Unless someone's paying you to fly out there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they are. Maybe they are. Maybe that's part of the marketing budget. But I've never understood how these organizations make money. I just don't.
Listen, they're going out there on somebody else's steam, aren't they? Because they're licking. Lickers. You know you are. Rinse your mouths out with TCE. That's what they need to do. But when Conor Benn comes back, you're going to see who's been banned, because I've been told a few are.
Yeah, I hope I am.
We don't want access to them clowns anyway, man. We just rinse them on here. We're the rincinators. Right, PBC, Terry.
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz has done one, so has Wilder. What's going on?
Has Ruiz left PBC?
Yeah.
So
his dad says.
To go where?
I don't know.
Well, he's going to go to Golden Boy? What heavyweights have they got?
I don't know. But
look, I always said it. You and I have known each other long enough, right? So what I say predates Josh. I've always said Ruiz is average at best.
Read it to you. Andy Ruiz's dad has confirmed that his son has left Al Heyman's PBC by mutual agreement, and that's on ESPN Knockout website. This is on Fight Club 247. What on earth is happening with PBC? It's a sinking ship. And then there's a picture of Andy Ruiz there, looking like Mr. Blobby.
I don't think it's true that PBC is a sinking ship at all. I don't think Andy Ruiz is marketable. It's as simple as that. Doesn't fight often enough. Isn't that good. Got dropped by Ariola, who was 40, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Doesn't seem to take the sport seriously. You know, that Joshua thing kind of inflated his reputation further than it should have. Instead of telling us how bad Joshua was, we assumed it told us how good Ruiz was.
The Douglas moment, wasn't it?
No, I think Buster Douglas was a better boxer than Andy Ruiz. Buster Douglas was the guy who, on his day, could actually beat anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think Andy Ruiz is a guy who, on his day, can beat anyone. He can beat Joshua, but that's Joshua. You know, that's not a big deal anymore.
No, it's not Joshua. But what about Wilder? Do you reckon he could end up with Eddie Hills, the 6-0 Iceman from Billericay?
No. Okay, so think about what Wilder's position is right now, right? Wilder's only got 3 or 4 fights, hasn't he, Russ? Yeah. So Wilder doesn't need to be moved up the rankings. Wilder doesn't need to be put in position for anything. He's never needed that. Well, he has, but he doesn't need it now because he's an elder statesman. He's a money man in the division. So he can be anywhere he wants. And what he's saying is, let me be a free agent. I'll still work with the PBC if I need to. I'll still work with Showtime if I need to. I'll work with Fox if I need to. But I'm not letting anything hold back a deal. I'm doing my own deals, is essentially what Deontay Wilder's saying. And remember where this really comes from. It comes from the way that Al Heyman pays you, because he doesn't pay you all up front.
Yeah, he don't, does he?
No, he gives you that money in stages. And that's kind of been what's kept Adrian Broner afloat, because Broner would have blown all his money by now.
Yeah.
So these guys are trying to secure the bag, because I think Broner's in debt and he's trying to get that big payday so he can kind of settle some of these debts.
He looks fat as a pig, Michelin man, doesn't he, with a beard?
Want to call him the new Porky?
It's like some dosser, doesn't he, that's rolling about in some dustbins, like some waste man, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does, doesn't he, Broner, doesn't he? You just know that Broner He's heading for Skid Row. And, you look at that Tank. He's got about 2.5 brain cells left in his head, hasn't he, Tank Davis? You just look at him, and he's just got jail time written all over him, hasn't he, Tank?
Yeah, it's sad that these kids get exploited and no one puts any effort into helping them develop and grow and escape their environment. They just use them. Then when they're done, just toss them aside. And it's not just boxing, Russ. I have the same issue with the military as well. Yeah. That if you're a working class kid in the army, you get released and that's it, mate. Good luck. Thank you. No real kind of aftercare for those first 3 or 4 years you're released. And I know that they give you a trade, and I know that they kind of help you in those 6 months before you leave. But you've been trained to kill people for the last God knows how many years.
22.
And there's no support, Russ. There's no support. Whereas if you're one of the privately educated kids who went to Sandhurst and you became one of the tankies or whatever, right? You come out and there's a network of ex-servicemen that will look after you. You'll get a good job in a bank or an insurance company or whatever. You get a nice little job, nice little gig, and they've got their little charities that will make sure that if you want to do a degree, they'll pay for it. But that never seems to work for the working class lads, and it's the same in boxing. Yeah? Eubank, product of privilege. Ben, product of privilege. Hearn, product of privilege. In fact, they're like this triangle of wealth that was created off their dad's backs.
Yeah.
You never see them struggle, do you?
Now, why should we have to put up with their offspring in boxing when they're not as good as the dads and they're just cashing in?
There you go. Yeah, it happens everywhere in life, man. Privilege looks after privilege. And like I keep saying, until these boxing fans understand how this works, and the only way you can hurt these people is to take money and status away from them. You being angry means nothing. Yeah, you're just a broke person being angry and a rich person. You not showing up to the O2, not showing up to wherever Conor Benn fights, that stadium being 1/4 full is the only win we will ever get in boxing. And until we're prepared to do that, I don't take boxing fans seriously.
Don't you?
No, not a single one of them. Until they're prepared to say, I'm not buying a ticket. Yeah. But what happens every time? What happened? Do you remember when Dillian failed the test against Rivas?
Yeah.
How many people are like, I'm not watching Dillian again. I'm not buying another Dillian White pay-per-view. I'm not doing this. How many people, Russ, do you remember that Twitter was mad for it?
Yeah, he got savaged and then they all bought his next one.
There you go. So do you take these people seriously?
No, but we're starved of action, aren't we?
No, you can't, because, I mean, you can't be a lion walking forward and you look behind you and it's just lambs, mate. Like, it's not worth it. You might as well just turn left and leave the lambs to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's just, what do you think is going to happen with Dillian now?
Whatever he wants. Like, he's still a money man in boxing. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Do you think he could fight Ngannou?
I think if you want to do that, you do it with Wilder, you do it in the States. There's just more money there.
Could you see him fight Wilder now and really roll the dice?
Ngannou?
No, Dylan.
Is there any money in that now? I think most people believe that Dillian would get knocked out.
Will they?
Yeah. If Fury did it, Wilder will do it. There's no debate about that.
Wilder will do it quicker, won't he?
I don't know if it's quicker, because Fury is obviously a smarter guy and sees different openings. But it'll be more devastating for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a orbit trip to the moon, won't it?
It'll be tough to watch. So look, in Wilder's position, like let's be honest, Russ, you're Deontay Wilder. At this stage in your life, you need to cash out, right? So Wilder's hoping Undisputed happens, and then he gets to fight the winner. And then he gets a Joshua fight. And then he doesn't need to do anything in boxing again. So you don't need Al Heyman for that. Al can't make those fights happen. Al can't make the Joshua fight happen. They tried, they failed.
Yeah.
Al can't make the Fury fight happen. That's about whether Bob wants to do it or not, or Bob and Frank. And then Usyk, you don't need Al for that. So Deontay's in a good position now because he's the guy who's unattached. And what he's saying is, I don't want a 3-fight deal. I want to do it on a fight-by-fight basis. Send me the best proposal and I will choose.
Yeah.
That's what Tom Cruise does, right? Send me the best script and the best budget and I'll choose.
Yeah, is that what he does?
Yeah, that's what all of those big actors do.
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Tel.
All right, mate. Now, sorry I had to stick it to the fans today, but I've seen the anger, Russ.
Yeah.
And we've been here before so many times that I know that these guys don't have the backbone to be angry. They're the sort of people who are just, those sort of people who get road rage. Like they're not really fighters and they're not really angry people. They get road rage because it's a safe place to pretend to be tough.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of boxing fans are. Like I said, the next Conor Benn fight, the arena will not be empty. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. You're right, mate. You're right.
You're not in Malta, by the way, on a side note.
Yeah, I'm not in Malta, no. Max and Dennis are.
Why didn't you go?
No, I've too much on.
Okay. Wow.
I can't be at Dennis's beck and call no more unless he's paying me.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Let Max earn his stripes. It'll be a good ride watching Max's comeback fights. But let's hope he matches him accordingly.
He should do.
Hopefully. All right then, mate. Well, listen, you
All right, mate.
Cheers, Terry.
No worries, mate. Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was Terry Chappendama, good pal of mine. Do you know Terry's a banker? That's what happens if you go to uni and you do all your sums at school. You get good jobs. Okie dokie. Big shout out, Welcome Estates, Spartan Demolition. Booyaka!